Dortmund vs Real Madrid, Reserve stars Ibrahim and Guler help build Los Blancos dynasty. At the beginning of the season that could end, at Wembley Stadium on Saturday, with Real Madrid winning the Spanish League and European Cup double for the second time in 3 years, the Spanish club spoke boldly about the transition period, and about renewing the team. Their summer recruitment strategy made that clear. It focused on generational talent, the type of footballer who would be an icon for club and country, for a decade to come. But enough about Jude Bellingham, the English midfielder, who has just been named La Liga Footballer of the Year, at the age of 20. What about the Turkish child who scored 5 goals in 4 matches during Real Madrid's victory in the local title? Or Brahim Diaz, the creative spark who facilitated Real Madrid's goals during the group stage and last 16 stage of the Champions League and who provided the best percentage of assists per minute in the victorious La Liga campaign among all of Madrid's attacking players? Bellingham is by no means the only newcomer around whom a European Cup winner's medal, should Borussia Dortmund be defeated in London on Saturday night, will look like a dazzling endorsement of smart transfer business and the sure promise of a permanent Madrid dynasty. Turkish teenager Arda Guler, who joined at the same time, is already viewed with some awe by his older, more worldly teammates for the style and boldness he displays, day in and day out, on the training pitch. Guler is frustrated that the opportunities to transfer all of that to match-day matches have been limited. But he will only turn 20 in February and admits he was bought from Fenerbahce because of his long-term potential. Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti said, "He does not need to rush at his age. I came here knowing that I might not play many minutes," Guler told La Razón newspaper. However, he was determined not to go out on loan to a place where he would have seen more first-team action. Instead, he focused on making the most of his few minutes in Madrid. And how? Guler's 6 goals in La Liga this season, most of which were concentrated in the final month of the campaign, came at a rate of just over 1 every hour on the pitch. He may not get much more than a place on the bench against Dortmund, but he has many years of Champions League football to look forward to. The wider world can expect to see a great deal of him over the next 6 weeks at the European Championship, where he will play an important role for Turkey. Last July, Real Madrid also strengthened its offensive arsenal by signing the player around whom Morocco's long-term future revolves as a rising power on the international scene. Or rather, they re-signed Brahim, who was originally recruited from Manchester City as a teenager in 2019. Brahim won his first La Liga title, to go along with City's Premier League winners' medal, the following season, although at that time he was restricted to a diet similar to the remarkable manifestation of the regime that Guler lived. 24-year-old Ibrahim, who committed in March to represent Morocco internationally against his native Spain, is a very accomplished player. After 3 seasons at Milan, where he initially won on loan and then signed with Real Madrid, with a buyback clause, in Serie A in 2022 he has become a vital cog in Ancelotti's game plan, albeit often from the bench. He has a real character, and even though he didn't get a lot of minutes at the start of the season, he showed his quality and his character, Ancelotti said. He always brings something to the game. When this was a flashy blow, in the fall, Ancelotti scolded Abraham for taking an unnecessary risk. The coach and players' respect for each other has developed since that incident. Brahim has a strong stamp on the European campaign. He scored a goal against Braga, as Real Madrid qualified from the group stage. He scored the decisive goal that, in a close match against RB Leipzig, propelled Real Madrid into the quarter-finals against City. He came in to help turn things around in the semi-final against Bayern Munich. Real Madrid was trailing 3-2 on aggregate with less than 10 minutes left in the match when Ancelotti introduced him. They have launched a thrilling comeback to ensure they reach Wembley, where they will be favourites against a lively but underdog Dortmund. Ancelotti, who is looking to win the club's 15th European Cup, is likely to name Ibrahim as a substitute in the final, and while he insisted Guler's form since April meant the Turk could be useful during the game, that would be the case. Plan C, instead of Plan B. After this weekend, the hierarchy will change even more. Real Madrid are expected to line up with Vinicius Jr. attacking from the left, Rodrigo on the opposite flank, and Bellingham the more advanced midfielder opposite Toni Kroos in his last game for the club before his retirement, feed Valverde and Edu Camavinga, in the coming days. Confirmation of the inclusion of Kylian Mbappe, whose contract with Paris Saint-Germain is approaching, to its technical staff. The France captain can assume he has a place in the starting lineup for next season. Vinicius, who is irreplaceable, could be asked to move from his preferred left-sided role to accommodate 25-year-old Mbappe. For other aspiring young strikers, the scramble for minutes on the pitch is about to get even more competitive. Rodrigo, 23, is understandably worried about his future. Guler will target much more than the 4 starts his promising 2023-24 La Liga campaign has yielded. A serial collector of league titles across countries, Ibrahim has the right to consider himself more than just a reserve player as he approaches a very big year in his career. In 2025, Morocco will host the Africa Cup of Nations, and the country's eyes will be on the Real Madrid medal-winning player, looking at Brahim as a star rather than a substitute.